For roughly 4 decades, Los Angeles architect Barton has been exploring the potential of using steel in houses. It is a fascination born from his early training as a pilot and his love for things high-tech and prefab. Meyer's fourth steel house, in Montecito, California, was completed in 2009. The 3,000 square foot single-family residence sits on a small, rugged lot next to a gurgling creek. Poured concrete floors, insulated metal panels, and a clerestory that frames mountain views lend the house its industrial, off-the-shelf feeling. With views of the Pacific Ocean, the residents take full advantage of Santa Barbara's mild and largely insect-free climate. 2 motorized glass and steel doors open completely, blurring the line between inside and outside, making both equally important in the composition of the living space.
You know, we live in one of the most extraordinary areas in the world. And without sounding like the Chamber of Commerce, but Southern California with this climate and this vegetation, and particularly in Santa Barbara where you link mountains to ocean, is so special that the original ideas that our architectural forefathers had here, which is coming from both Moorish and Spanish traditions of the garden as paradise, but also from the Japanese, is the connection of house to garden. To dissolve the indoor-outdoor and champion the outdoor room is equally as important as the indoor room. Now, because of this indoor-outdoor aspect, I've long been fond of the overhead door. When you move these doors up to the ceiling, then the ceiling becomes even more interesting because now you have a steel deck and then you also have glass doors and you get to play between the 2 ceilings. And these doors are so ingenious. You lift thousands of pounds and they're beautifully torqued with all the gear chains that have been worked out of I don't know how many years. They're so smart that it's hard to say no to these doors. As beautiful and as wonderful as this landscape is, it's dangerous. All of this material burns, and we're in a desert in some ways, so one has to be relatively sensitive to do a house that can withstand fire. And so for a long time, I've been fascinated with steel. This is really a almost soft prefabrication where you order the components and then they're assembled on the site. We're using wonderful off-the-shelf materials that Americans make well. So these are American steel beams, metal deck, beautiful overhead doors. We make great sliding doors in Los Angeles. So all the materials are things that almost anybody can get. They're reasonable. And the secret is putting them together in an interesting kind of combination. This was early known as the binuclear house in the 60s, where you separated the living components from the bedroom components. And it makes a lot of sense, the sense of moving from a broad public space to a more private space. And so the bar building, which is low, has library and bedrooms and courtyards and bathrooms. That means that the living pavilion can be kind of glorious and grand at the scale that it should be, and the bedrooms can be at the scale they need to be. This is a modern, generic house of living, dining, kitchen at beautiful proportions, and it works. Tongue-in-cheek, I call all this new stuff in Santa Barbara the terrible Tuscans. And it's so fun to throw a glove down on the pavement and challenge these terrible buildings that don't belong here. Don't get it. They can't open up a window to breathe. So it's so exciting to find the people like the gardeners and all my consultants and friends who work on these houses. Great, great contractor to make all this happen. It's just been really fun for me.